I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on the late O.J. Simpson of San Francisco, who was born July the 9th, 1947, who the world convicts him of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown. And I said the world for a reason, because we all felt like, and more than all knew, that O.J. Simpson clearly murdered his ex-wife. But let the courts tell it, let the system tell it, because the whole case was America's most televised, broadcast, baffling, in-your-face case in American history back in 1994 and 95. Today is November the 10th, 2025. However, this reading may be uploaded on the 11th. I'm going to try to get it done by the 10th, but most likely you will be viewing this by November 11th. Either way, that's a 24-hour irrelevance to when I upload the video. But I'm going to get heavy into this case because this is a long-awaited Astro Oracle investigation. So, OJ, however, everybody involved is currently dead at this moment. I am a high-ranking oracle, so I tuned in and I will be communicating with the dead on this reading. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations, so you can see the channeling raw and uncut. I am a high-ranking oracle and spiritual divine channeler. O.J. Simpson was born to Jimmy Lee Simpson and Eunice Simpson. His father was an openly gay drag queen, and his mother was a technician of a mental health hospital. Of course, they were divorced. And I didn't say, of course, because he was a drag queen, because there are women that are happily married to men who are drag queen entertainers at night, and happily married men to women with children during the day. So, we don't discriminate. But they were separated. So, let's go down the timeline. I'm going to get straight to it. Just after midnight on June 13th, 1994, June 12th going into the 13th, 1994, at 875 South Bundy Drive in Los Angeles suburb of Brentwood, California, two bodies were found brutally slain to death. A woman and a man. The woman was Nicole Brown and the man was Ron Goldman. A bloody glove was found in the yard nearby. A second matching glove was later found in the garden of Nicole Brown's ex-husband, O.J. Simpson's home. You would think that's enough, right? Let's finish. O.J. said to be a highly narcissistic man who cheated on his wife. He was said to be a highly narcissistic man who cheated on his wife. Let me slow down because I can already see myself jumbling over words. I get excited. So, due to OJ's early childhood development delay in stature, called rickets, affecting the healthy development of his bone structure in his legs, causing him to have to wear braces on his legs in his earlier life. He later succumbed to an adolescent lifestyle of fighting, anger issues, stealing, violence. In 1967, he started his football college career at the Trojans, quickly becoming the best running back the college has ever seen. That's the perfect example of an overachiever when you suffered a setback in a certain area of your life. and you've healed from it and you want the world to know so much to where you overachieve areas of your life that are actually dependent on those specific areas of your life that you experience these traumas and setbacks at. So OJ developed an energy signature in the sports arena as an overachiever. Of course, due to his early underprivileged and underestimated ability of his legs. OJ and Nicole met after his first African role tribesman debut in the 1977 ABC miniseries Roots, where the same year he met 18-year-old Nicole Brown, who was a former high school prom queen working as a waitress at the Daisy, an upmarket nightclub in Beverly Hills that O.J. Simpson frequented. Despite his wife and children that he already had at this time, O.J. pursued an intense, passionate relationship with Nicole Brown, where she dropped out of college to move in with O.J., which began a lifestyle of romance and domestic abuse, and numerous law enforcement appearances at their home that even led to O.J. Simpson being wanted on these accounts following a high-speed chase back in the 1980s where he got away, later leading to a sentence that was suspended where he only served 24 months of probation and community service. Why? Now, it was said that O.J. Simpson had a very close relationship with law enforcement. Also, O.J. Simpson was one of the richest athletes in history at this time. You know what that means? Absolutely unacceptable, though. Absolutely. They say money is the root of all evil. Absolutely unacceptable. But let's keep going. Because we don't know if he did it or not, right? So we're going to keep that same energy until further notice. I mean, because if they say he didn't do it, because they know. They went to college, law enforcement, like the judge, everybody that did his trial, because he even hired, they fired the original lawyer and hired one of New York's most famous lawyer, Johnny Cochran, at that time. These are college master degree doctorates and PhD people, whatever the highest degrees of, these the big folks, right? That was doing the case. So they say he didn't do it. So we're gonna follow. We go along with what they say, right? So in 1992, Nicole finally filed for divorce and survived off of $10,000 in child support because they have two children together. Finally, she filed for divorce and survived off of $10,000 life support checks every month and a one-time payment of $433,750. I mean, who wouldn't survive off of that? And then you get $10,000 a month in child support. She moved into a condominium, so-called rental. Come to find out later on that was a lie. It wasn't a rental. But she used that because she wanted on paperwork to say that she still lived with O.J. Simpson. But see, there was a method to all of that madness, and we're going to get to that in the reading. Like I always say, everyone is suspect until something gets proved otherwise. Just like my readings, they're for entertainment purposes until proven otherwise. June 12th, 1994, after she done moved into the condominium at 875 South Bundy Drive in Los Angeles suburb of Brentwood, California, with a new lover in her life by the name of Cato. On June 12th, 1994, around 10 p.m., screams were heard from this condominium that she shared with her lover Cato. That, of course, O.J. Simpson's income was paying for. And O.J. Simpson knew it. He knew she had a new lover and all of that, He even used to pay for Cato's food at times. On June 12th, them screams came. A neighbor followed a bloody dog. It was later confirmed that that was Nicole's dog. His paws were bloody. I guess he ran away from the scene and he went to get help. And the neighbor that was out that night saw the dog with the bloody paws and followed the dog to the crime scene. And it was the neighbors that discovered Nicole's slain body. She had been stabbed to death, along with another man that was stabbed to death on the scene. But the man wasn't Cato, her lover. This man was called Ron Goldman, who was a non-romantic friend of Nicole, who they had made arrangements for him to drop off her glasses that she had left at a restaurant that evening. And he came to drop those glasses off to her and ended up dead with her. What happened to Nicole and Ron Goldman that night? Now, the blood on the glove was confirmed to be a mixture of OJ's, Nicole's, and Ron Goldman's. So according to the bloody glove, it was confirmed that OJ's blood was on the glove, along with Nicole's and Ron Goldman's. That would make sense, right? You would think. Because remember, this was evidence that was presented before these higher ups. These PhD government officials, right? That run the world. They rule the system. So they know, right? They know how to get to the bottom of everything, right? Even if evidence is raw and uncut and in your face. So OJ pled not guilty in America's most famous court case, broadcasted live the entire duration of the case in 1994. I remember, like everybody else remember, that's just like everybody has their 9/11 story, right? Of the Twin Towers that got destroyed, which was another one of America's, that was a world event in history. Tragic event. But we all also remember the O.J. Simpson case. That was in 1994. We was in school. Do you know they stopped everything that day? Everybody stopped what they were doing. If you was at work, you was in the break room on their TV or wherever your job had a TV at. If you was in school, we stopped and had TV day. I promise you, we all remember that day. We had TV day. We stopped doing everything and we was all sitting in front of the TV the day of the verdict. And that day colored the energy of America ever since when it came to blacks and whites. I mean, it was a specific type of, what word am I looking for? Not specific. It was a because of course there was a lot that done happened that colored the energy of blacks and whites in America. And plus around that time, Rodney King, that was the Rodney King case too, where he was beaten by the police. And that kind of scarred the black energy in America as well. But the reason why I say a distinct, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Spirit. Distinct. It was a distinct coloring of the energies in modern day America between black and white, because America has the history of uh, traumas that colored the energies of blacks and whites, and we all know that in America. But this is why I was looking for that specific word, and it's called distinct. It put a distinct scar on the energy of blacks and whites in America that was really unnecessary. And we all remember that. So OJ was charged and acquitted in 1995. Acquitted means that as not guilty of a crime he was charged with. Right. He was acquitted, not guilty of the crime that he was actually charged with. So now he later received liability charges. Liability means that you didn't do it, but you're still responsible. That's just like if you have a party at your house and your friends tear up your shit. And now they going back to their own house, and now you're charged by the property if you don't own that home or whatever. Let's say you didn't own the home. Now you're charged, you're liable for the damages. They're not coming for your friends, they coming for you. So, I guess that's what they mean by liability charges in this case. Because he was ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages to the families of Nicole and Ron Goldman. Let's pull charts. Let me put this over here. I'm going to keep this in front of me because, of course, I looked at the charts already and I took some notes on what I'm going to go over and what I saw in the charts. O.J. Simpson was born July the 9th, 1947. His sun was in Cancer and his moon was in Pisces. And y'all know how I formulate time. When you put a Pisces moon in Cancer's house, which is the fourth house, Sagittarius is rising. I thought I had them in order. I guess I put them back in order. I thought I had the charts on top, but I guess I did. Sagittarius is rising when you put a Pisces moon in Cancer's house, right? Now, in this chart, this is OJ's birth chart energy. Now, OJ is a Cancer. His energy is right here in the house of death. Does this mean he killed Nicole? No. This is his birth chart. Okay, you can never look at a person's birth chart energy and determine whether they killed somebody or not. But what you can determine in a person's birth chart is what type of energy filters the way they end things as far as people, places, and things. And you look at that in their house of death. This energy of Cancer lets me know how OJ ends everything. Not just people or his own life, but how he ends cycles, how he ends everything, relationships, cycles, different stages in life, so how he moves from one stage to the next. So if he did kill somebody, this energy would filter the type of energy that he is operating through. So the energy that would most likely manifest transition in his life and from him to another is Cancer energy. And O.J. Simpson is, in fact, a Cancer. So I find it ironic that although you can't determine whether he killed Nicole or not, but I find it very ironic that his energy is in the house of death. because he is a Cancer. Now, also what I find ironic is that the moon actually rules Cancer. And OJ's moon is in Pisces, which is ironically in Cancer's house. Cancer rules the fourth house, but Cancer is in the eighth house, Scorpio's house of death. Scorpio energy is hiding over here in the house of the hidden, which is Pisces' actual house, where Pisces is actually in Cancer's house. This particular water trine, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio are water signs. A trine represents a trine aspect of energies that are all in the same element. This element is water. So Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio are water elements. If it was a fire trine, then it would be Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. But we're going to stick to the water trine that's showing up in OJ's chart because this is not an astrology video. This is an Astro Oracle investigation video. Okay? So, the water trine is showing me that OJ Simpson has an energy that makes it easy for him to hide crime involving death that either happens to him or happens to, or him doing it to somebody else. This is also the type of energy of somebody that can die of mysterious causes. You really don't know how this person really died. So let's move on to the death of Nicole that day. I pulled a chart for that day. But before I go to that day, look what comes first in OJ's chart. Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius rules the ninth house, which is why this is a ninth house chart. The ninth house is all about higher knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The higher knowledge is, the ninth house is also the house of religion, belief systems, what you believe. Okay, it represents your culture. And the ninth house also represents other people's culture, foreign cultures, foreign love affairs. Okay, and this was definitely a foreign love affair. Because OJ is African American, black, native, whatever. And Nicole Simpson is clearly not African American. So, she may be Irish or English or, I'm not really sure, but I know she's not African American. We all know that. So this is definitely a foreign affair. Okay? And OJ's life was full of foreign affairs because the energy of romantic affairs is Leo energy. And his Leo is in the ninth house of foreign affairs. And this is a ninth house chart. Okay? So also, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And Jupiter in OJ's chart is in Scorpio, right here hiding. Jupiter hiding in Scorpio, which is the energy of death, lets me know that OJ Simpson, because Jupiter represents opportunity and expansion, OJ Simpson had an energy that gave him the opportunity to actually hide death. And it's funny that his actual Cancer energy is in Scorpio's house of death. And his moon is in Pisces, right there in the home and family. That's Cancer's house, fourth house. Right? Now, let's get to the day Nicole died. Nicole and Ron Goldman was found dead June 12th, 1994. June 12th into the 13th. Okay? But it happened on the 12th. So I pulled the chart of the 12th. And June 12th, 1994, the sun was in Gemini and the moon was in Leo. That foreign romance, right? Let's pull it. So when the Leo moon is in Gemini's house, which is the third house is actually rising, comes first. Gemini comes first when Leo is right there in Gemini's house. because Gemini rules the third house. And ironically, this is an actual third house chart. The third house represents everything that happened in the local environment, in the local neighborhood. And this death happened in the local neighborhood. And the neighbor, which is Gemini energy, was the one that discovered the bodies. This was a neighborhood discovery. Third house. Make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial that I put in the link of every reading below. It is called Astro Oracle Tutorial. It is a timestamp video where you're able to click directly on whatever sign, whatever house number, or whatever planet you hear me talk about. You can click directly on it. And I give you a general meaning of what that sign means, what that house number means, and what the planet means that you hear me talk about in any of my charts or any of the cards that I pull. So you will see how I formulate my story. So you don't think I'm just up here talking shit, trying to make myself look spiritual, like I'm some spiritual channeler. I am a divine, highly ranking oracle. That's why I put my Astro Oracle tutorials in the links, because you have a lot of counterfeits out here trying to pose as people who can look into the spirit realm and bring answers. Because, see, I'm naturally skeptical of those things. I even intrigue myself. That's why I know how to reach out to the skeptics. So if you ever feel like skeptical, because I know what skepticism feel like, that's why I break down everything I talk about. Trust me, I'm just as skeptical as you are about all of this shit and whether it works or not. And I tell you, I would not be making a fool of myself doing what I do and recording it if I didn't see truth and alignment and synchronicity in it. Okay? So, I'm going to also be answering a lot of y'all comments. I see a lot of comments coming through, which I always do as I'm doing my reading. So I will be answering your comments. And I appreciate all my subscribers and viewers for reaching out and commenting and suggesting content, all of that. This O.J. Simpson, oh, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this case. So, Gemini comes first. And also what's so ironic about Gemini coming first and so synchronistic is that in OJ's chart, his Mars, which is the assassin planet. Mars is the planet of our assassin energy, our adrenaline energy, the energy that we use to attack life with. That is our defense mechanism. That is how we defend ourselves and how we pursue what we want. Mars is a very popular planet in all deaths. Attacks, fights, challenges, all of that. And investigations. OJ's Mars is right here, coming first that day. It's in Gemini. Did OJ actually know the neighbor? Now, OJ's Mars is in Gemini. Mars, the day Nicole and Ron Goldman was found dead, was in Taurus, which is right here. And Nicole Brown, I didn't pull her whole chart, but I do know Nicole Brown was born May 19th. She's a Taurus. So, OJ's assassin energy is in Nicole's energy. So that is another synchronicity that I look at to see whether he actually killed her or not, or whether the energies were aligned for him to get away with killing her. And being that his Mars is in Gemini energy and her Mars is in Taurus, and her Taurus energy is hiding. What was this hidden Taurus energy? Taurus rules money and material possessions and wealth. What was hiding in Nicole's money and wealth energy? Let's look in Taurus's house. What do you see? Taurus is the second house. What do you see? OJ. He's a Cancer. This was about the hiding of something that has to do with OJ Simpson's money and his income. Okay? You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Now, if you look in OJ's chart, In his house of money, you will see Capricorn, which represents the reputation. Capricorn is our reputation energy. It is our status energy. Okay? Capricorn energy in OJ's house of money represents his financial reputation. Why is this important? Because this same financial reputation in OJ's energy is found in the house of death the day Nicole and Ron Goldman was found dead. The eighth house is always the house of death. And you have to look in the eighth house to connect the dots, to find out who, what, where, when, and why a person is dead, if they are. So I find it ironic that OJ's energy of his financial reputation is in the house of death the day Nicole and Ron Goldman was found dead. Because there was an issue with OJ that he had with Nicole surrounding his financial reputation. And he publicly was calling her, they pulled phone records. He was threatening her leading up to her death, letting her know that he's going to take her to court and sue her for millions for tax evasion or tax fraud, something that she was doing, and she was lying when it comes to taxes in OJ's financial reputation, whatever he was doing. And this is the house of taxes as well. Like I said, make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial. This is also the house of taxes. You can't make this shit up. Why is OJ's financial reputation in the house of taxes and shared resources? Why? Because everything Nicole and her so-called lover was living in and living under was from OJ's financial reputation. This is why he kept threatening Nicole. And like I said earlier, he developed relationships of a romantic and sexual intensity where he was capable of hiding his potential to attack and unalive his partners. Why? Because his Mars is in Gemini, and Gemini is in his house of relationships, partnerships. The seventh house is the house of marriage, spouses, relationships, partnerships. There were many interactions, Gemini energy, going on, aggressive interactions at that, because Mars is there. What types of relationships were these? Well, let's look at where Libra is, because this is Libra's house, but Gemini there, the energy of interaction. Libra is over here in the 11th house of Aquarius. Aquarius is the house of groups, gangs, organizations, sororities, fraternities. Aquarius is also strangers and friends. O.J. Simpson had a lot of friends, and he developed personal relationships with these friends. He interacted with them daily. He also developed personal romances with them because Mars is in Gemini. Mars rules Aries, and Aries is right there in the house of romance and entertainment. This is Leo's house. And remember, Leo is in OJ's house of foreign affairs. This is how I connect the dots. Energy does not lie. And he had the potential to hide what he can do to these people because Mars also rules Scorpio. It rules Aries first and it rules Scorpio second. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto first. And Pluto in OJ's chart, which is the planet of death, is in Leo, which is in his house of foreign romance, which is where the co-ruler Aries is in Leo's house. This is how I know that OJ developed relationships of romantic and sexual intensity where he was capable of hiding his potential to attack and unalive his partners and get away with it because not only is OJ in the house of death and taxes and shared resources, he shared his financial status with others. which would have made it easy for him to do whatever he wants with them and get away with it, even if they called the police. Because did I also mention, it's in my tutorial, but did I also mention that Capricorn is the energy of law enforcement? Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is the house of law enforcement and the authority figures. Now, the planet that rules Saturn is Capricorn is Saturn. Now, if this is true of what I'm talking about, let's follow Saturn to see if it confirms it. Saturn, the day Nicole died, which is, this is the chart, is in Pisces. And look where Pisces is, in Capricorn's house of law enforcement. The person, a lot of these people that responded to the scene, OJ already knew them. He already knew them. He already knew them. He already knew them. I'm going to pull from the planets. I'm going to pull another chart. And I'm going to allow the energy of this crime to pull a chart. I'm going to tune into Nicole. I want Nicole to talk to me. Nicole and Ron Goldman. Nicole and Ron Goldman, who died June 12, 1994. Nicole Brown. I forgot what year she was born. But she was born May 19th. Not sure what year. But I know she's a Taurus. Nicole Brown, who was formerly married to O.J. Simpson. There's only one Nicole Brown formerly married to O.J. Simpson, who was found dead June 12, 1994, with Ron Goldman. That's enough information for me to tune into the only one. That's all I need, is enough to tune into the only one. Because that is the energy that's going to pull this card. Nicole Brown. Tell me what happened to you and who did this to you. Y'all ready? Energy doesn't lie. Neptune in the 6th house. Neptune rules Pisces, which led us to that law enforcement and what they were hiding. The fact that he knew them, right? Now, Neptune showed up in the 6th house. That's Virgo's house. That is the house of work, daily routine. So, who was working with whoever showed up? If that's what this card is telling us. Nicole pulled this card. Let's find out what she's saying. Neptune in the 6th. That day, Neptune was in Capricorn, the law enforcement, in the 6th house. When Capricorn is in, I want to put this where you can see it. When Capricorn is in the 6th house, guess what comes first? Leo. Look at that. Energy does not lie. Neptune, the day Nicole died, is right here in the 6th house in Capricorn. You can't make this up. This is what law enforcement was hiding. The law enforcement workers that day was hiding, and they got paid to, because Taurus, the energy of money, is in the 10th house. This is Nicole. She's a Taurus. She's in the 10th house. This is the day she died, and I reached out to her because I'm talking to her. She's exposing herself because the 10th house is the house of exposure. And we're exposing what happened to her the day she died. She was the number one. She was the number one that day. So, of course, if I contacted her, she would come out in the 10th house. Right? So, she's there. Now, what comes first? Leo. You remember Leo? That's that foreign love affair. Now, this law enforcement worker that responded to the scene that day Why did she pull this? Where's Saturn? Because Saturn rules Capricorn. Where's Saturn? We're going to find out why she pulled this. And see, Neptune was in Capricorn. Saturn was in Pisces, like we said before. And Pisces is right there in the house of death. Look at that. That's the one. And there was a story that came out. There was a story that came out that they, after OJ hired New York's most famous lawyer, Johnny Cochran, that is when Johnny Cochran was able to expose the fact that somebody tampered with the evidence at the crime scene. Let me tell you something. Johnny Cochran isn't famous for nothing. And I'm not saying he's famous because he's the truth. He's famous because he is a lawyer. And if you don't know what a lawyer means, you're not going to understand why Johnny Cochran is famous. You're going to think I'm saying he's famous because he told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. He told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. No. Johnny Cochran is the most famous lawyer because you need to understand what a lawyer is. He was able to defend who hired him. Of course, the richest athlete in American history at that time hired him. So Johnny Cochran was able to defend OJ by saying, in but so many words, they tampered with the bloody glove. Okay? Because not only did the glove not fit, which is why they said this was an acquitted because it didn't fit. They had a whole saying. If it don't fit, acquit. Something like that. It was a whole saying. But not only did the glove fit when they told OJ to try it on, but also the fact that the glove had OJ's blood, Nicole's blood, and Ron Goldman's blood on it. So what Johnny Cochran's defense was that the bloody glove was tampered with. It was dipped in Nicole's blood. So that way it would able to show up. OJ's blood would be able to show up. Something like that. You know. But Leo comes first. And the day, because Leo rules the sun. So let's follow the sun that day. The sun was in Gemini. Gemini came first the day Nicole was dead. So look at Nicole talking. Gemini, right here in the 11th house. Sounds familiar? That is part of the relationship. Somebody that was in a relationship that OJ had a partnership with. OJ had a relationship and partnership with everybody he pretty much met. Whether it was romance, business partnership, neighborhood partnership. He knew the neighbor because the neighbor came first. OJ knew everybody pretty much in that neighborhood. He knew people you didn't even think he knew. The 11th house is the house of friendships. Friendships, right? Now, remember Libra in his chart was in the house of friendships. His relationship energy was in the house of friendships where he interacted with, right? Look where Libra is in the chart that Nicole pulled. Right there in the local environment. That's Gemini's house. That's the house where the neighbor is. Right? And that's who came first. Did OJ know the person who discovered the bodies? Of course. Of course. OJ even knew the law enforcement that showed up on the scene. OJ was a powerful brother. From another mother, of course. OJ was a powerful brother. Not only that, he's only powerful in this world because money rules the world. Money don't rule the universe. Money rules the world. I'm going to let that marinate. And OJ was one of the world rulers. Why? Because he had money. He had money. His financial status was the GOAT. And y'all know it. Talk to me in 3 cards. Talk to me in 3 cards, Nicole, and tell me who did it. Talk to me in 3 cards. Tell me who did this to you. And not only that, she's telling me, look at the chart. Look back at the chart. Look, the 5th house. She pulled this chart. Leo came first, that foreign love affair. What foreign love affair? Look inside of the 5th house. What you see? Sagittarius. That's OJ's chart. That's what comes first in his chart. Sagittarius. That's who came first. That's Aries' house, number 1. Where's Aries at? Right there in the 9th house. That's Sagittarius' house, the 9th house. I don't even need to pull these cards. We know he did it. We know he did it. We know he did it. Let me put this deck up. She told me to put this deck up, and she told me to tell you this. The 5th house. Look where OJ is. In the 12th house, hiding. The moon rules Cancer. OJ is a Cancer. He's hiding right here in the 12th house. Okay? Now, who's hiding? Let's follow the moon. The moon, the day Nicole died, was right here in Leo. It came first. He was the foreigner from her that was hiding. That killed her. The hidden is Pisces energy. He's in Pisces' house. That's the 12th house. Where's Pisces at? In the house of death. I'm done. I don't even have to pull no more cards. I'm done. I'm done. She pulled it. She spoke it for herself. This was the only card I had to pull. Neptune in the 6th house was the law enforcement that he paid off. Because remember, this is his financial status. He paid them off. I'm done. I'm done. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so y'all be notified when I drop my investigations. Y'all now know, and you can see for yourself, that O.J. Simpson murdered his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and Ron Goldman. And he got away with it. And they got their money in return. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. And O.J. was one of the GOATs of the financial world. Talking about some liability, him paying $33 million. Of course, he would, and I think he did do jail time. He did jail time. He served like 17 years, but he got out in 2017 off of good behavior. But while he was in there, he was chilling. And I don't even think he did jail time for Nicole. He did jail time for something else. But he was in there chilling. Like, he was in there, had his flat screen. He was still playing football. He was teaching the Little League. Like, boy, bye. Yeah, he did it. Rest in peace, too, to OJ, because he passed away last year. You know, nobody's perfect. Whatever he battled with in his life, we all are human, you know, and we battle with things. That's why I encourage people to do their shadow work. You know, get spiritual as fast as you can so you can start to unravel what's lurking on the inside of you. These shadows that will cause you to want to kill folks. Get to know who you are on the inside and unprocess those shadows. You know, stay away from those people that you know are playing with you. Don't let nobody get away with playing with you. Whether it's playing with your emotions, playing with your mind, don't let money deceive you, and don't let money control you. You are important. Your heart is important. Your mind is important. Your feelings are important. Don't let nobody mess with you like that, because you'll let people make you kill them, all because you tolerating what they're doing to you. You tolerate them playing with your emotions and acting like they don't know what they're doing. You tolerate people gaslighting you, all in the name of you not wanting to be alone. No, fuck them people. Stay away from those people and save yourself. Even if you got to be by yourself. At least you ain't killing nobody. At least you ain't hurting nobody. At least you ain't attacking nobody, because you staying away from everybody that like to play with people. that have emotions. They have feelings. You like to play with people's hearts, play with people's minds, play games, manipulation games and shit. You know? You like to play with people who got money. Keep those people away from you. Y'all be blessed.